Welcome to the Boston Hassle Telethon. My name is Sanaya. I am a volunteer for Brain Arts organization. If you are unfamiliar, Brain Arts is a volunteer-run nonprofit based in Boston, of course. We have a mission of creating platforms for artistic communities. I am here with 3 other lovely volunteers who made a tremendous impact on this organization. We're going to talk about volunteering with y'all, what's it like, the experience, and maybe get you to donate?
Yeah, donate.
Okay, so let's just get right into it. Can I get your name and what you do and how long you've been volunteering?
Okay, I guess I'll start. I'm Teal. My day job is that I work as a program manager for a nonprofit. And what I do with the Hassle is volunteer coordination, and I do like operations, and I also volunteer at shows because I'm really into it. What was the last thing?
How long have you been volunteering?
Oh, I've been volunteering since June of this year, so I'm a relatively new volunteer, but I dove right in, and I love everyone here, and they're all great.
Killing it! All right, I'm Kat. I am a student at Boston University, and at Brain Arts, I am the head of the prod team. And the prod team is the promotions team, so I do a lot of social media, some media relations. I also like volunteering at shows and just, anything that's going to get our shows out there. And I've been with Brain Arts for like almost 2 years now.
Oh my gosh,
so,
yeah.
Coming up on my 2nd anniversary. Yeah.
I'm Alex. I've been here for about 6 months, so from March. I'm on the prod team, so I'm like understudy. And then I'm on the space committee, which is for a second space. And then also a key holder, and I'm DAP staff. What was the other question? Oh, what else do I do? I'm a student at Bunker Hill.
Right on.
And I work at a restaurant. So fun life.
Yeah, some of us have other jobs along with volunteering. We are very busy people, but super committed. What I love to talk with volunteers about is how they heard about the organization and what their first impression was. So tell me, how did you get into the org?
Yeah, so I'm originally from the Boston area. I grew up in Somerville. I lived in New York for like the last 7 years, and then last year moved back to Boston, and I was looking to get back into just like the music scene. I was always really into music and arts growing up and continue to be, and so I went to a show. I went to the Carla Del Forno show in June, and I actually met Sam. He was actually working the like tabling at the show, and I picked up a copy of The Compass. And I was like, what is this? This looks really awesome. So I basically just like went onto the website and looked around and saw that they were looking for volunteers and signed up. And then the rest is history. I basically just started going to meetings and hanging out with people and like figuring out how I could contribute. So that's kind of how I got into it.
Cool. Well, my story is less cool. I don't know, I was just like bopping around as a student, and I just didn't know what to do with my free time, and then I decided that I want to work in music at some point in my life. So I literally just went onto google.com and I typed in Boston music scene or something like that, and went through 5 pages, found the Hassle, found the volunteer sign up form, still killing it on there, and I signed up. I don't remember what happened next. Ended up volunteering at a show, and then I don't know, just somehow slowly started doing more and more, and then I just got sucked into volunteering. Yeah, that's my long-winded and boring story, how I started, but it's been very not boring ever since.
My story is a little weird, but it's a whole process. Like when I met tonight, I went through a whole it's a whole relationship thing, but I dated a guy who's a musician. I became a musician, and then I wanted to get into the music scene. And I'm fairly young, so I couldn't really do much. So then my brother, he is in JP, and I passed a store called Deep Thoughts, if you know it. Yeah, you probably do.
You better know. Yeah, you probably, if you're watching, you probably.
Yeah. I followed them on Instagram, and then under it suggested with Boston Hassle, and I didn't know what it was. And I kind of left it alone, and then I saw like their stories, and they were always having shows. So I was like, oh, what's this? So I go on the website, and it's like, volunteer with us. And I'm like, okay, I'll volunteer. That's not going to happen. I didn't think it was going to happen at all. So I just let it, I didn't say anything to my mom. I didn't say anything at all. And then I got an email from Sanaya. And then basically, the day I met her, it was like, I had 2 things to do. I had one, I was gonna go to my guitar lesson class, learn guitar, and I was gonna conquer it. I was gonna go all the time, every Monday. I was gonna do it, and then I went to the meeting, and I met you, and I only stuck with one of those things, and it was this, and I've progressed into many things.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's great. Definitely a good choice.
Also
yeah,
killing
yeah,
it.
oh yeah, definitely.
Also killing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's like one of the best ways to spend your Monday nights, honestly, to be in a
Yes.
space for the weekly meetings.
Oh yeah.
So what has it been like for you volunteering? It's a really interesting experience, I would say, volunteering with Brain Arts because of so many things you can do, but what has it been like for y'all?
I feel like the first thing I thought of when I started volunteering is that it's been really welcoming and that you can make it be like whatever you want it to be. So, like when I started out, I was like unsure like what the org was like, and from talking to Sam, I kind of understood all the different projects that Brain Arts is involved with, from like the gallery space to the compass to booking shows to just like having the space in Dorchester for the community to use. And so I was just excited about applying my skills from working in the nonprofit world to like my own thing, like a side hustle, and like making an impact in an area that I really care about, which is arts and music and culture, and just like underground culture especially. So I feel like my experience has been, it's been whatever I want it to be, and like the conversation has shifted over time. So as a volunteer, you don't have to like do one thing or stick to one thing. You can like be like, hey, I'm interested in doing something else or doing something new, and you can always like find a new project to get into because there's always things to do. So I would call it, yeah, just like you could make it whatever you want it to be.
Oh, sure. It actually is evolved for me in many, like, it's something that I didn't think I needed or that I needed to know. I mean, yes, I've gained friends, and I go out more, and I'm very more social than I ever was. But I feel like now it's gotten me more connected to my community, because if you asked me like a few months ago, like if I care, not that I don't care about Dorchester, I love where I'm from, but I also was like, I want to get away. Like I don't want to be here, but now I kind of have something that makes me want to stay, and it's like, putting us on the map. Like Boston isn't like the music scene, or like there is a scene, but it's not really like the scene. Like it's like no one cares. But
we do.
Well, we do.
Yeah. So you're surrounded by people that do though.
Yeah. And I think even when I look at the scene now, so I'm from the quote unquote hood, I guess, and I look white, but I'm actually Dominican, and no one knows that. But there wasn't many arts growing up, and I kind of had to go look for it. And so I think this has evolved into like my community and getting people in urban communities to really, learn instruments or just learn anything in general, or have a space to go to, so they can stay off the streets and, just spend their time doing better things than what they, do without any, guidance. So.
I'm just gonna pull some inspiration from both of your answers. They're really good. So, what you said about how you can kind of make your own path, I like to think of Brain Arts as an organization that just really forges its own path, and we're just kind of figuring things out as we go, and it's a little hectic, but then it always ends up working, and it just really comes from the hard work and the strategizing and the time and effort that is put in by all the wonderful volunteers who work here. And so when I started, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I had virtually no experience, and I don't know, I just like started talking to people and being like, hey, I kind of am interested in this, and I'm interested in this, and how about this for an idea? And it just like one by one, I started doing more and more, and it kind of put me into the position I am now, where I get to talk to new volunteers and help them think of new ideas and listen to their suggestions, which is great. Like my new intern, Danielle. Hey Danielle, hope you're listening. We had a meeting recently. She had just the most wonderful ideas, and it's great that we have an organization that allows people to feel completely open and not feel ashamed or embarrassed to say something new and to offer something new to the table. And to pull from your answer of, it's going to be a little different, but to pull from your answer of like finding a community, like I'm a student here. I came from freaking Houston, Texas, had never lived anywhere but Houston, Texas. So I come to Boston, I'm like, okay, I'm here, like what's next? What do I do? So like Alex said, like you don't associate Boston with having an art scene or a music scene, and I've always loved music. I went to performing arts school for classical voice, and I didn't really have any guidance. I didn't know where to look for that, and Brain Arts and Boston Hassle and the Compass, they've all really helped me find Boston's musical and cultural identity. And I also really love our new mission statement, and how we're striving for conscious cultural empowerment, because it seems like we're almost even forging the new Boston cultural identity.
Wow, you really think so?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I would definitely echo your sentiment about finding the community. I was a recent graduate when I first started volunteering with Brain Arts, and I was so afraid of losing that community I had in school, but it was just so easy to fall into the new community I found with Brain Arts. I met Sam for the first time before anybody else, and he was just so welcoming and so and just like really like riled me up and got me so excited about volunteering, and I just had no idea what I even wanted to do, but I was like, I'll do whatever you want me to do. The way you talked about the organization was so lovely and was just so motivating. So like we said, we do a lot of different things. You kind of have a lot of freedom to do what you want as a volunteer. So I want to know, what was the thing, maybe the challenge, the task that gave you the most personal satisfaction as a volunteer?
For me, I think it was really adding the organization element to the prod team. Because when I started out at the Hassle, there were a lot of people writing great content and making great posts. It just wasn't really organized. And I feel like a big accomplishment for me is just to, make a calendar, make it more organized, make sure that a show doesn't slip through the cracks, and make sure that we're giving each show the proper attention it needs to get people to come out and leave their houses and come see something new and cool. So that's probably it for me. Also, just the accomplishment of making a bunch of new friends.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, cheeky.
Yeah, I feel like going along with the organizational idea, like for me, it's been like, yeah, just brainstorming and thinking of ways that we as a kind of a ragtag group of volunteers can just like streamline things or share tasks. So one thing I did recently is like, we have our Monday meeting, which we alluded to, which is like so great. But I was like, hey, maybe we should have different people facilitate the meeting so we get different perspectives from all the different volunteers. And so I think that's been really cool to just see how everyone has different perspectives on the organization, and allowing them to lead and facilitate is like a great way to get to know them, but also to understand the different priorities of the org. So I was really excited to work on that and sort of build that system.
It's a great idea.
Oh yeah, definitely. So the org has definitely evolved even within the past year, and you have all joined within the past year or so. So I want to know, from your perspective, what's the most unique thing about volunteering for Brain Arts?
Well, I don't volunteer anywhere else.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the people.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I think
100%.
I think it all comes down to the people, because like we're like people power oriented organization, like that's how we get shit done. And but like everyone has such different perspectives. We have people who have like visual arts background, like music background, like business background, or like nonprofit background, or like librarians. Like I feel like we have people that do like all kinds of things, students, and I think that is what makes it so unique, is that, and also it's like intergenerational. Like we have high schoolers, we have people in their 50s, we have people in their 20s or 30s. Like it was really interesting for me to come in and see like so many different people of different age groups too, because I feel like mostly in life you usually hang out with people approximately your age, so it's great to like meet people from in different age groups. So I find that really unique.
Yeah, what she said.
I feel like you can learn a lot. That's, for me, I've learned a lot. Like if I want to learn sound, I can learn sound. If I want to, like I'm into photography, so we have a camera here, and I want to take pictures, I can. And the more you evolve, the more you can just do things, and the more responsibilities you can take on, and the more you just learn. Like I learned a lot about like Google Sheets. That I know, you know what I mean?
Valuable skills,
Yeah, valuable
honestly,
skills.
yeah.
Yeah. Get yourself a job with that.
Yeah. So you learn a lot.
Okay, so in one sentence, why should people donate to the Hassle Telethon?
Keep building community. Build a community right here in Boston and help us create a new Boston cultural identity.
Yes. Well put, Kat.
I'm
Thank
like,
you.
I don't know, but
Oh, I don't want to be the final word. Please.
Well, you heard it from the source. Our volunteers say donating, volunteering is probably the best thing you can do with the organization. So if you're interested in volunteering with us, bostonhassle.com/volunteer, fill out the form. We will get back to you and get you involved. And if you're interested in donating, you can go to bostonhassle.com/telethon. Super easy to donate. And that's a wrap.
do it.
Yay! Thank you.